Are you feeling stuck in your coaching business? If so, you are not alone. This is one of the most common things that happens for entrepreneurs as they're moving forward. No matter where you are in your business, we a lot of times hit these places where we feel like we get stuck. And in order to move forward, we need to make some changes, or we need some support with doing that. So a lot of things that happen is like analysis paralysis, wondering, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I go this way? Should I go that way? Procrastination, just avoiding doing anything because you don't know what to be doing. Really the fear of making mistakes and doing the wrong thing. What if I do this and it's not the right thing, or it takes me in the wrong direction, or I fail because of it. So if you can resonate with that, let me know in the comments. But I want to give you really my number one tip, and it's really a series of questions just to go through for yourself to really help you get unstuck and moving forward. Okay, so the first thing, and it can be helpful to do some journaling around this as well. So the first thing is really getting clear on your vision for your business and your life. And this can really change as you evolve and move forward in your business. So when I was first starting my business, I had a certain vision as far as what I wanted to create in my life. Like I wanted to move to Colorado. I was living at home with my parents in Wisconsin. I had quit a job that I hated. I was working at Macy's dressing mannequins part-time, also working on starting a business, like working out of an office, a chiropractic office. And so I was in a very different spot than I am now. But I had this vision of I wanted to move to Colorado because I wanted to spend more time in the mountains, spend more time playing outside. I had a dream of buying a house that was in the mountains, of getting into a relationship with an amazing person. And I've made all those things happen, which is awesome, right? So then I get to a spot where it's like, okay, what's next? What's next? And so we always have like this evolving vision. So always getting clear on what is that next vision. And that becomes really our compass in the world as far as what we're moving towards. Because if we don't have something that we're moving towards, we have a tendency to just kind of spin in circles. So it's like putting in a location on your GPS. It gives you something to aim for so that you can move towards that. Okay. So the second thing is really looking at, what would this change for me? So if I did have this vision, what would it change for me? How would I feel? Why is this important to me? Because this, once again, just really taps into that on a deeper level, and really understanding that everything that we want in life is because we want to feel a certain way. And we think if we have those things, it's going to help us feel this certain way. Which obviously you can feel that way right now, which is part of manifesting things, but it really helps to just tap into this so you can start tapping into those feelings now. Like, if I had this certain thing or accomplished a certain thing, I will feel this way, and then start working on feeling that way now. And then really, like, one of the biggest things that holds us back is obviously the fears of failure, the fears of something not working out how we want it to. And so I always like to really get clear on this, because a lot of times we're not even clear what the fears are, or why we're afraid of these things, or what's really possibly going to happen. And so it just becomes like this murky thing that we're afraid of. So I like to really look at this. So what is the worst that is going to happen when I move forward, or when I move towards this thing, or take this next step in my business, or make this change? And what does that look like? What's the worst that's going to happen, right? And a lot of times, once again, what we're most afraid of. So a lot of times what I hear from people is, people will think I'm a failure. They're going to think like, who are you to do this? Why did she make that choice? And a lot of times it's around like what other people think, but it's also just around like our own, like, we don't want to fail. But once again, what you are most afraid of is typically a feeling. So the feeling of failure or disappointment. Because for a lot of us, like, the reality is if we did totally fail in our business, like worst case scenario, we'd go get a job, and some people you may already be working. So you're right back where you started, right? So something really to look at. And the next thing is really to look at what's the best that could happen. So once again, this is just tapping into your vision and really looking at that. Like if the best could happen, whatever I want that to be, what would that look like and how would that change my life? And really tapping into that. And then the very last thing that I really want you to think about, because this is the game changer, is that really recognizing that for most of us, that the worst that could happen is missing out on the possibility of your best case scenario because you don't even give yourself the chance. I mean, there's obviously been lots of, I would say like studies where people ask like on people's deathbeds, like, what do you regret most? It's never taking chances in life. It's never going after those things that you really want. It's never going after your dreams, even if it doesn't work out how you want it to. It's always the things that we wanted to do or we dreamt of doing, but we didn't do it and we didn't give ourselves the chance. That's always what people regret. It's never taking those chances. It's never going after those things we want. So I really want you to think about that, because for a lot of us, it's like this, the fear thing, right, is what's keeping us stuck. And when you think about, I really have nothing to lose. Like the worst case scenario is missing out on giving myself the possibility of my best case scenario. That's really the worst thing. That's really a game changer, just as far as shifting that mindset and giving you that freedom to be like, okay, let's go after these things, and start taking action towards them. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did you find that helpful? Does this help as far as getting you unstuck and moving forward? And actually go through and journal these, because I think you get a lot of clarity from doing that. So thank you so much for joining me in this week's video, and I will see you next time.